Yo, what's up? So I posted a video yesterday, and I called it something like advice to fellow nerds who want to get into lifting. And I genuinely expected it to get no reaction, but I got like 1,000 views and a bunch of nice comments and like, I don't know, 60 or something likes. And I actually got a lot of messages on Discord, like 5 or 6 or 7 people asking for advice and shit. And I was able to help him out a little bit. So that made me feel really good. I'm gonna be honest with you. No part of me expected for that video to get any sort of traction at all, and B, I don't know how to say it, but it made me feel good. I slept better, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I've been having trouble sleeping the last few nights. So I wanted to make another one, and what I want to do today is talk about, I don't know what I'm going to call this, but some sort of like key terms that I think will help you, especially if you're a beginner, when it comes to getting into lifting. Because in the last video, I was sort of broad and I didn't really get into any sort of specific things. And I want to get a little bit more specific tonight. So it's 2 in the morning. I don't have any sort of like script. I'm not reading off of anything. I do have the terms written down next to me. And unlike your regular vocab, this shit actually matters because every single one of the things I'm going to talk about, if you understand it or make an attempt to understand it, is actually going to get you gains, which is pretty rad. So, long ass intro over with. Let's get into it, man. So, I am a NASM certified personal trainer. I'm going to say that a lot because I'm goddamn proud of it, and I busted my ass to earn that title. And one of the things that I was taught was, and one of the most important things that I learned, I guess I should say, is a SMART goal. Now, I think everybody, even if it's not weightlifting related, should have goals. But what is a SMART goal? Well, it stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So, for example, I want to drop 50 pounds in a week. Is that realistic? Obviously not. Is that attainable? Obviously not. It's timely. You got a time frame. That's good. It's specific, I guess, but I wouldn't call that a SMART goal. Now, without getting too nerdy or too into it, there's process goals and outcome goals. Outcome goal is like, I want to drop X amount of weight, or I want to win this competition. I want to impress chicks, you know. Those are outcome goals. And honestly, outcome goals I wouldn't focus on too much. They're very appealing because obviously everybody wants to get noticed by chicks, but it's a lot easier to focus on the other type of goal, which is called a process goal. So a process goal is, I'm going to ride my bike for 30 minutes today, or I'm going to add 5 pounds to my deadlift, or I'm going to add 10 pounds to my bench, or I'm going to do one more rep than I did last week, right? Those are process goals, and that's something that I would call a SMART goal. So for the timely aspect of a SMART goal, right? Instead of saying, I want to drop 50 pounds tomorrow, you should say, I want to do 10 more minutes of cardio a week from now. You know, I want to build up my endurance over X amount of time. For me personally, I like to focus on 4 lifts, and make sure my strength is going up. So on chest day, I focus on my bench press. I want my bench press going up every single time I go to the gym. And going up doesn't necessarily mean weight. Going up can mean, like I said, doing more reps, or pausing on the isometric hold longer, or doing more weight, obviously, is one of them, right? On leg day, I focus on the squat, and on shoulder day, I focus on the seated shoulder press, and on bicep day, I know it's taboo, but I like seated spider curls. So I want my process goal, my SMART goal, is every time I work out, I want to increase my strength on those. And then for the rest of the workout, I kind of just focus on hypertrophy, which is muscle growth. So SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. If you ever set a goal for yourself, try to make it a SMART goal. It basically just makes it obtainable. And then you'll feel good when you obtain small goals. It sort of gives you more motivation to keep going, and you'll feel better about yourself. And setting big, lofty goals that you don't hit is going to demoralize you. I don't care how stoic you are. Not reaching a goal sucks, and that's okay, because that's the stick to your carrot. You know what I'm saying? It should hurt when you lose something, but it should also feel good when you win something. So make your goals smart. The second thing I want to talk about, and I think this is borderline the most important thing for natural weightlifters, and I'm going to use that word a lot because a lot of the fitness influencers, at least that I follow, and that you probably follow too if you're into this shit, aren't natural. I hate to break it to you. Some are, absolutely, but a lot of them aren't. And when you're not natural, you can get away with a lot more than you can when you're natural, right? So I want to talk about this thing called progressive overload. I'm going to read this shit off my second monitor because it's a lot easier to read it off the internet than it is to give you my jumbled explanation. So, progressive overload is the gradual increase in stress on the body over time. It gives the muscles an opportunity to adapt and get stronger. Progressive overload can be achieved by increasing weights lifted, reps completed, or by changing exercises. This is one of those things that I think we all sort of know, but when you put it into words and you actually contemplate it, you are better able to achieve progress. I mean, just break it up into the two words: progressive, over time, overload. We add shit to it. So basically, the reality is a bigger muscle can move more weight. It's not necessarily a bigger arm, because fat's not going to help you move weight, right? The saying mass moves mass isn't necessarily true. That's why you see crazy competitive powerlifters at 145 pounds benching fucking 400 pounds. It's because mass doesn't necessarily move mass. In a lot of cases it does, but force production or strength is from more motor units being recruited, if that makes sense. So basically, over time, you want to recruit more of those motor units. And that's why you're able to get stronger while maintaining relatively the same amount of body weight. Like, I personally don't necessarily want to get much bigger, if you know what I mean. I want to get stronger and leaner and more vascular and shit, but I'm comfortable at 195 pounds. I think that any more than that, life shit would be uncomfortable. So as a natural, I think it's really important to focus on progressive overload. Now, we're going to get into my favorite one. These two kind of go together, but I want to talk about the difference between motivation and discipline. Now, a lot of times, I think honestly, as a personal trainer, the question you get asked the most, and this isn't an exaggeration, more than any other question, is how do I stay motivated? What do you do when you're not feeling motivated? Motivation is nice, but it's not necessary. You're not going to wake up every day motivated. I wish that was the case. I wish I could tell you that you're going to. I wish I could tell you that, oh, you just do this and you'll feel motivated. The reality, everybody gets motivated differently, and the motivation doesn't last. Now, I'm not going to get too preachy, but let's just say that heartbreak is a hell of a motivation. Proving someone wrong, hell of a motivation. And I'm speaking personally. I don't know what motivates you, and that might be your question. If you can find something that consistently motivates you, man, hold on to that shit. But don't expect it to always be there. That's where discipline comes into play. The disciplined guy, the patient guy, will always beat the motivated guy. This is going to sound cringy, but the patient man is always richer than the rich man, because the patient man can afford to wait. That's a good one. Write that shit down. If you can be patient and disciplined, throw a little optimism in there, dude, there is nothing in the gym that you can't achieve. You can be Mr. Olympia with that shit. So motivation and discipline, I think people mistakenly mix those two things up. My advice is be disciplined, but ride the motivation when it comes, you know? If your heart gets broken, good. Pick up the weight, and start fucking curling. You know, if someone makes you feel like a little bitch, you know, calls you out on some shit, good. Pick up the weight and start fucking curling. It'll be lighter, I promise. But those days when you don't have that motivation, because motivation can be positive or negative, but the days when you don't have it, those are the days when your discipline is going to be tested. And discipline, you're in control of. Motivation, you're not. I hope that wasn't too preachy, but it's true. The next thing I want to talk about is overtraining. If you're worried about overtraining, and your goal is to lose weight, you're not overtraining. You can always do more cardio. If your goal is to lose weight, it's so hard to overtrain. My buddy and I used to have this joke where you're not overtraining, you're under resting. They're basically synonymous. If you're eating fucking 6 meals a day and you're sleeping 8 to 9 hours a day and you have an appropriate split, it's really hard to overtrain. A lot of people think they're overtraining. They're not. It's sort of like going to failure, right? I think Mike Mentzer said, you need to achieve that failure rep. I love that. You know, you achieve failure. That actually might have been Tom Platz. I wish I knew that off the top of my head. But you should be failing. And when you're failing, you're doing something right. I would argue that when you're overtraining, you're almost doing something right. Especially as a newbie, I don't think you're overtraining. I think overtraining is an excuse that a lot of people use. 90% of the people who are who say they're overtraining are undereating or undersleeping. So get that overtraining shit out of your head and say, I'm under resting. I'm under recovering. I'm under eating. I just think that overtraining becomes an excuse. So be careful with that. If you ever think to yourself you're overtraining, maybe you are. Maybe you need a rest, and that's totally fine. And as a natural, you do need to focus on rest. Resting is equally as important. You know, you don't grow when you're in the gym. You grow when you're resting. But intensity of effort is the single most important factor. So if you're using overtraining as an excuse to not be intense, you're going to have a problem with making gains. And that's that on that. Next up, I want to talk about whatever it takes. This is an homage to one of my heroes, Rich Piana. I say whatever it takes other than steroids. So I guess that kind of defeats whatever it takes. But whatever it takes isn't just in the gym. When you're eating a meal, okay, a lot of people say, oh, I eat so much and I'm not gaining weight. And then I say, okay, what are you eating? And they say, I'm eating everything I can. And I go, no, be specific. Tell me how much you're eating. Well, I eat 3 meals and I have a protein shake and sometimes I'll throw my food away. And I'm not saying you need to measure your food and shit, but like you should have a basic idea of calories in, calories out, you know? Whatever it takes is in all aspects of this, right? If I want to go out on Saturday night, but I had a shitty workout week, I'm not going out on Saturday night. I'm staying in and I'm going to the gym on Sunday morning. If I know that I didn't hit I eat 200 grams of protein a day. If I know I'm only at 150 grams of protein, I'm not going to bed. I'm staying up and I'm going to fucking drink some egg whites. Bob Evans egg whites that are the easiest to drink. If I know that I didn't eat enough, I'm going to eat some fucking oatmeal, you know? And I don't care if I'm sick. I don't care if I throw up. If I say that, oh, I don't feel like eating, that's just not a thing. That doesn't enter my head, you know? When I go to the gym and I don't feel like doing squats, I do fucking squats. It's what I know I need to do. And that sort of ties back into the discipline aspect. I will never be able to explain this as well as Rich Piana was, which is why it's such a fucking shame that he died when he did. So just YouTube Rich Piana, whatever it takes. He'll cover this way fucking better than I can. One thing that somebody left a comment on the last video, and I fucking love it. I wish I remember your name. I should have checked. I apologize. But somebody mentioned min-maxing in the gym, and I thought that was fucking brilliant. Because a lot of us, I assume if you're watching this video, you were subbed to me for my World of Warcraft content, and we all know what min-maxing is. Min-maxing is using the demonic runes instead of shadow, whatever it's called, life tap or whatever, right? Rest in peace, Gussie, whatever his name is. min-maxing in the gym, I think, is fucking brilliant. Basically, it means doing every little thing you can to be better. So I'm gonna rest, pause. I'm gonna squeeze my chest. When I'm doing lateral raises, I'm gonna squeeze that bitch at the top. I'm not just gonna, do the movement. I'm gonna feel it. When I'm doing bicep curls, I'm gonna squeeze that shit, and I'm gonna go down. Yeah, I could just swing it and get the weight up, but that's not what it's about. It's every little thing that you could do to be better, and that incorporates your diet as well as you're resting, as well as lifting the weights. Because if you ask me, the 3 things that go into building muscle or losing weight, it's exercise, rest, and diet. It's not it's not easy, but it's simple. There's only 3 factors. So it's all about squeezing as much out of those 3 factors as you can. Holy shit, I've been rambling for 16 minutes. Let's wrap this up. The last 2 things I want to talk about sort of tie into each other. And we've all heard the term genetics, okay? I'm only like 5'10". I have pretty decent shoulder genetics. I have a small waist, but that's about it. I don't have short bicep heads. When you flex your bicep and it like is a curve. I have long bicep heads. My chest genetics should be better. But that's not the only thing that I think matters with genetics. And what I mean by that is, I think, some people are 7 foot tall, for sure. Some people just have insane cardiorespiratory, endurance. Sorry, I'm looking for another song to play here because I'm very ill prepared. But that's not the only thing that ties into genetics. Genetics can also mean the guy that has a higher pain tolerance, or the guy that is able to stick to something longer. Genetics is also somebody who's smarter in their approach, who's more patient. It's not just about this guy has visible abs, without working for him, or this guy has a fast metabolism. We all have different advantages and disadvantages, and it's all about identifying those and maximizing your strengths while focusing on minimizing your weaknesses, right? There's really not much more to be said about genetics. It sort of ties into my philosophy on overtraining. I think a lot of people use genetics as an excuse. Yes, some people have slower metabolisms, but you might be smarter. You might be more patient, So don't cut yourself short. Don't focus on your shortcomings. Focus on your strengths and identify your weaknesses. That sounds very preachy. A lot of this sounds preachy, but god damn it, it's true. And lastly, I gotta wrap this shit up because I could talk about this stuff all night and I need to go to bed. The last thing is potential. Now, potential is the culmination of a lot of different things. You really don't know your potential. And I'm stealing this from Mike Mentzer. Again, rest in peace. All my fucking heroes are dead when it comes to bodybuilding. But Mike Mentzer said, potential is something that you shouldn't concern yourself with during the process because it can only be measured in retrospect. In other words, you'll never know how good you would have been unless you try. So let's get to it. Basically, don't worry about your potential. Don't worry, because you have no idea how good you can be. You have no idea. You have no idea how efficient people can get. So even though where you are right now, you might not be satisfied with, and you might think to yourself, I don't have what it takes, at least give it a go. At least fucking step up to swing, bro. You gotta swing. If you miss, who gives a shit? But at least swing. I think it was Greg Plitt. Again, he's fucking dead. But Greg Plitt said, the guy who failed is 10 times more of a man than the guy who said what if, because what if never went into the arena, So don't worry about your individual potential. Just get in there and do the best you can every single day. And I'm not saying just in the gym. I'm saying with your diet, with your mindset, with your fucking resting. Everything you do the best you can, because your name's attached to it. And if you do the best you can with what you can, you will achieve some shit. You will. It's impossible not to. It's fucking science, dude. Bodybuilding is a science. It's not an exact science. Nobody can tell you the exact perfect workouts, the exact perfect diet. Fitness influencers will try to sell you shit and claim they can, but nobody can. You just got to get in there and do your best. And don't worry about your potential. Just worry about sort of being in the moment, if you will. This is getting really preachy. but just do the best with what you have. And I'm sure you'll surprise yourself with what your real potential is, because nobody except God, if you believe in that, knows your potential. So don't sweat it. Just do your best. If you need more advice, I got a bunch of messages on Discord, and I've been sitting here just replying and giving people workout advice all day today. I did not expect to get that many views or have that many people reach out to me on Discord. So if you have any fucking questions, I'm not trying to sell you supplements. I'm not trying to grow my Instagram. I'm not trying to do any of that shit. I just want to help. You know, I'm a NASM certified personal trainer. I know what I'm talking about. I will give you a science-based workout program routine. You just come into my Discord, add me, send me a message, say, what's up, bro? These are my goals. And we'll talk. And I want to help. So I also want to say thank you guys. Thanks for all the likes and the comments and shit. It means more to me than I can put into words. I love talking about this shit, and I want to see what y'all are made of. I want to see your potential. So join the Discord in the description. Shoot me a message if you want some more advice. And again, I don't know if I'm going to post again. I did not expect to post 2 videos within fucking 24 hours. But, I don't know. Like I said, I love talking about this shit. So I know it's late. I know it's dark. And, anyways, I'm really starting to ramble. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Brock Age. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully this helps somebody out. This is a long ass video, but I love talking about this shit, so I hope it wasn't too all over the place. If you got any questions, leave a comment and or reach out to me on Discord, and I'm here for you, bro. You got this. You got it. Thanks for watching.